The PickEms. The PGL Major 2022 Major Playoff PickEms is upon us. Right now, boys, we already got it, right? We got all I need. I got all I need as it is right now. The bracket is as follows. Ninjas in Pajamas taking on FaZe Clan in the first quarterfinal. Team Spirit taking on Furia in the second quarterfinal. ENCE versus Copenhagen Flames in the third quarterfinal. And Naturus Vencera, aka Navi, versus Heroic in the fourth quarterfinal. Now, looking at these quarterfinals, there's one that springs into mind where I think, holy mother effing macaroni, that is a good game. That is Navi versus Heroic. So we'll do that last. You know, we'll wait with that prediction. We'll wait with that pick'em prediction till the last, because that is a banger, an absolute banger of a game, man. Let's start with the first one. Ninjas in Pajamas going up against FaZe Clan. I think personally that is a very interesting game, because I think there's one team that has delivered more than we could have expected, and one team that, dare I say it, one team that has lived up to expectations but still haven't hit their peak yet. Let's put it that way. Ninjas in Pajamas, they started out by absolutely destroying Vitality 16-4. Then they won a close game against Cloud9, who had a terrible tournament. Then they lost a relatively close game to Navi 1-2. And then they beat Furia with no problem 2-0. Ninjas in Pajamas cannot be underestimated. I think they are a class team. I think they're doing a fantastic job. I think they've done a great job so far at the Major. S-Attack has played way better than anyone would have anticipated. S-Attack has done a great job with the AWP. Hampus, as an in-game leader, has done a fantastic job. Res is playing some damn solid Counter-Strike. So there's a lot of positives right now to drag out of NIP. The problem for NIP is that they face FaZe Clan. They face the current world #1 in FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan, during the group stages, looked alright. You know, the one loss they have is not too shabby. It's alright, you know. It could have been worse. It could have been worse for FaZe Clan. I think they bounced back well. And despite them losing a couple of maps, you know, one against Copenhagen Flames as an example, that shouldn't really be a thing. Like, it shouldn't really be a problem for them. Then it is a FaZe Clan that has looked somewhat solid. You know, they also beat BNE 16-4 with no problem. Beat Cloud9, no problem. So it shouldn't be too much. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, to be completely honest, for FaZe Clan to at least come into this stage and think, hey, we still got it. We're still not at our best, but we still deliver the results we needed. They started off, you know, by losing to ENCE, but that's not a shame at all. For this game, I just set it up quickly, right? Ninjas in Pajamas versus FaZe Clan. I think it has potential for an upset. I'm gonna go with FaZe Clan. I'm gonna go with Kerrigan. I'm gonna go with the experience on the stage. That's where I think the biggest difference is. I think the level of Counter-Strike I've seen from Ninjas in Pajamas so far, the level of Counter-Strike I have seen from FaZe Clan so far has been somewhat equal. I don't think one team has been necessarily better than the other, but FaZe Clan have tons of experience on the stage. Last time NIP was on the stage during the PGL Major at Stockholm, completely fell flat. Didn't have the experience, didn't really have the drive to it, didn't have the level back then. I think NIP is a better team today than they were at the PGL Major Stockholm, so I think there's a higher chance for them to make a good game out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 3-map on this one, but I can't visualize for myself that FaZe Clan will not win against NIP in the quarterfinal. I think FaZe Clan have too much quality, they have too much experience, they've been preparing like crazy for this one, and I think if there ever was a time for Kerrigan to win a major, and I feel like we said that before, this would be it. He is top motivated. Now, Team Spirit Furia in quarterfinal number 2. That's a bit of a wild card. Spirit so far has been the biggest, I would say, surprise of the tournament. They've played some damn solid Counter-Strike, yet to lose a game, lost a couple of maps, but that's it. Whereas for Furia, been struggling a little bit. They've been fighting for it, right? I think the win against G2 yesterday was a good win for Furia. It's one of those wins where that gives you confidence going into the playoff. I think the level Spirit have shown us so far in the server has been spectacular. I definitely want to highlight a guy like Dexter as well. I think he's currently sitting at 150, 160 hours played the past 2 weeks in Counter-Strike. Like, he is grinding like a mother trucker. He's probably working as much as I am right now. That is insane. So I want to give the credit to Dexter. I want to give the credit to Spirit. I think they fully deserve to be where they're at. And coming into the quarterfinal, on paper, with the way they've played so far, they're the favorites. Right? You cannot make an argument saying that Spirit, with the way they've played so far, are not the favorites, you know, going up against Furia. But that is only if you discredit all the other factors that comes into play. in an arena, in a stadium, on a stage, you know. Furia have been there countless of time. Where Spirit, it is relatively new for them. Chopper may or may not have been on a couple of stages. Dexter, new to him. Magic's new to him. Patsy, never been there before. And the confidence they played with is a big part of the reason why Spirit have looked as solid as they have. I think Furia, again, I'm going to be a little bit boring right here. And excuse me for it. I really would like to pick Spirit here. But I am a big believer in experience. I'm a big believer when it comes to the big stages. Those games live their own life. You can argue as much as you want to. That there's something to be said about individual live. But those games live their own life. You can look at all the statistics. You can look at all the internal matchups they've had, etc., etc. But when you go into a major quarterfinal, that is a game that lives its complete own life. And on a stage, I think players like Caserado, like Yuri, like Art are gonna deliver. Now, you could argue that Drop and Safe are both relatively new to Furia, so they don't have as much experience as they used to with Vinny on the lineup. I suspect this is gonna be a close one. I really suspect this is gonna be a close one. I kind of want to pick Spirit here, but I'm gonna go with Furia. I'm gonna go with the experience. I really do believe that Caserado, Yuri have what it takes together with Art in order to shut down for a very well-playing Team Spirit. ENCE versus Copenhagen Flame. Now, that's a bit of a banger, isn't it? Right? ENCE so far, this major have looked solid. They've lost only one game. They've beaten FaZe in a best-of-1, admittedly, and they've looked good. You know, every time you see ENCE play, they just look good. It's a solid team. It's a quality team. It's a team that play Counter-Strike at a very high level. That's just the way it is. Spinks right now has been one of the revelations of the major. He's in shape. He's in form. Madden, you could say the same about him. Do you have playing great? Start be calling the troops haters. A little bit inconsistent, but still, they've lost twice. Still have a little bit of confidence. A little bit of. He's having a bit of problems finding the consistency, but I think it's good. ENCE have only lost one game right so far, and they did qualify without too many issues, I'd say. Copenhagen Flames, without a doubt, the biggest surprise in this bracket together with Spirit. Like, those two teams, no one really could have guessed would be in the playoff of a major. So credit where credit is due, my friends. Credit where credit is due. Now, the thing is, Copenhagen Flames have had a bit of an easy route to get here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna discredit anything from Copenhagen Flames, but they're yet to beat a team where I thought, whoa, that is impressive. That's a team I didn't anticipate you to beat in a best-of-3 scenario. They have struggled a little bit, and we saw it even against Imperial yesterday. The nerves are getting to these guys. They're young, they're inexperienced, they've never been on a stage before, and they almost bottled it against Imperial on Vertigo. Imperial, who are not playing Vertigo at a high level, still went into double OT. So, with all the respect, Copenhagen Flames, I think what you've done up until this point have been absolutely spectacular. Maybe, just maybe, you can make the argument that now they've finally overcome the hurdle, have finally got into the playoff. They're going to play free, they're going to play with confidence, they're going to play with no pressure, and that could be their win condition. That could be them going through here, because they are a quality Counter-Strike team. When they're playing their own game, Copenhagen Flames is a team that can win against ENCE in a best-of-3. I have no doubt about it. I do think, though, that ENCE have shown us enough this tournament to label them as the favorites. I think ENCE is the better team. They played against each other 3 weeks ago during the Blast Showdown as well, where ENCE won the game. ENCE qualified for the finals in Lisbon, which is going to take place a couple of weeks after the major. I think that internal matchup for ENCE is going to side their way. As said, these games live their own life, and there's definitely a lot of learning to be had from Copenhagen Flames in that game. I'm having a hard time seeing Spinks not showing up. I'm having a hard time seeing Copenhagen Flames not being affected by sitting on a stage. I think it's going to be too tough for Flame to overcome this. A little fun fact to those of you who don't know, during the PGL Major Stockholm, they had a chance against NIP to qualify for the playoff. They won the first map, but lost map 2 and lost map 3. Didn't qualify for the playoff. They did the same against Spirit during this major. Won map 1, lost map 2 and 3, didn't qualify. They did the same against FaZe. Won the first map, lost the next 2, didn't qualify. And against Imperial, they finally overcome that. So they have lost 6 maps, 6 match points in a row. 6, let's call them break points as in tennis, in a row, down to that pressure where they just couldn't handle it. So to believe that they're going to take down ENCE on the stage, I really don't believe that. Now, you can say the same for ENCE though. Like, there's not a lot of experience on stage, right? Do you have Madden, Spinks for that matter, Hades? They've never been on a big stage. They've never been on a big stage. They grew during the Corona period in Counter-Strike, that's when they made their name for themselves. So two very inexperienced teams taking on the stage, but I think having Snappy with them is going to help ENCE a lot, and I think ENCE is the better team, which is why I'm going to side with ENCE and say ENCE are going to make the semi-final. Now, Navi versus Heroic. I labeled this to be a banger of a matchup, and it is a banger of a matchup. I am not gonna lie. It's a sick matchup. These two teams played in the qualifier for the major, where Heroic won the first best of 3 they've ever won against Navi. For the first time coming into the major. That must give some confidence. Now, the problem is Navi looks like the best team right now. Navi is looking like themselves, right? Simple said it. Blade said it. I interviewed Simple on the desk. You know, how far away are you from your peak right now? And he said, we're playing at 80, 85%. All right. If Navi is playing at 80, 85% and they're playing so well, what the fuck is going to happen when they go into the playoff at a stage where they're feeling comfortable, where they almost own it, where they won the last major with no problem and play at 100%? I don't think any teams outside of FaZe have a realistic shot at actually pressuring Navi in such a game. Heroic, so far in this tournament, have actually not looked that well. I expected Heroic to be one of the teams who could go 3-0. I definitely anticipated Heroic to be a team that would go 3-1. But they had to fight for it. They had to go 2-2. And they really had to fight for it. They were one map away from getting eliminated by Vitality. That's it. That's the truth. Now, in that game, Heroic were the better team. I don't think there was any doubt that Heroics deserved to beat Vitality. I don't think there was any doubt that they were the better team in that game. But I have a little fun fact for you right here. And that is where the analysis skills comes into play. Navi so far in this tournament is by far the best team in the pistol rounds. They've won 9 out of 10 pistol rounds so far in this tournament. The second best team in the pistol rounds is Heroic. They won 12 out of 18 pistols, I believe. Or 14 out of 20? Something like that, you know. They won the vast majority of the pistols. The reason why Heroic is here right now is because of those pistol rounds. All right, without those massive wins and without those massive conversions, because that's another side of the story, they've converted 100% of their pistols. So whenever Heroic win their pistol, they always win the second round. Same could be said for Navi, right? Without that good start on both halves for Heroic in most of their games, I don't think they would be in the playoff. I think that's a big driving factor as to why they're here. Because as I said, the T side from Heroic have struggled a little bit. The general play from Heroic have struggled a little bit. And now they go up against the one team in the tournament who are actually better than them in their own strength, which is the pistols, and that is Navi. What happens if Navi win just 50% of the pistol rounds? Or if they win 60? Or if they win, 3 out of 4 pistol rounds in that game? Then I think Navi will run all over Heroic, to be completely honest. I haven't seen enough from Heroic to believe that they can beat Navi on a stage, especially not during this major. Last major, I was like, there's an upset potential. There still is, but Heroic played better Counter-Strike. I don't think they played their best Counter-Strike so far. I can't see a world where Navi's not winning. Bit, by the way, is also playing fantastic Counter-Strike, currently leading the MVP race for the entire major. Simple hasn't even been needed, and we're talking about a Navi that has only played up to 80% of their capacities. All right, as much as I respect Heroic, as much as I want to see a Danish team progress here, I just don't see either Flames or Heroic winning that game. You may think, surely there should be an upset right here. I think the team that has the biggest chance of upsetting is Team Spirit right here. I think if you were to pick an upset, and I'm not even sure I would call it an upset, it is Team Spirit. It is Team Spirit taking down Furia. And I can't really figure it out. I'm going to go with the experience, and that's my argument for pretty much all these games. These two teams are inexperienced both, but ENCE is the better team. Right down here, again, the better team. Up here, that has an upset potential as well. NIP cannot be underestimated. I think they played some fantastic Counter-Strike. But I still believe that FaZe coming into a stage, Twist on a stage as well, Rain on a stage, Robs on a stage. There's so much experience. Within FaZe Clan that I cannot see it happen. FaZe Clan, even if FaZe Clan are facing Spirit, I think FaZe Clan will win. If FaZe Clan face Furia, I think FaZe Clan will win. Furia's playstyle is not a good match for FaZe Clan. They like Brokey, Robs, Twist. They are expert at dealing with hyper-aggressive teams, I feel. They're very good at that. Kerrigan calls a very explosive style, and he's very good at adapting to the teams he's playing against. So, Furia have that aggression. They have that... Oh, they have two good players in Quesarado and Yuri, right? But against a team like FaZe, the stylistic matchup right here is not into their favor. I'm gonna put FaZe. I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about it. We're gonna put FaZe in here. I think FaZe is gonna go to the grand final of the major. Now, ENCE versus Navi. As much as I want to say there's an upset potential right here, because there is, I think Navi, again, stylistically speaking, against a team like ENCE, they're too strong. Now, one thing I want to give ENCE right here, the way they play the T side is very explosive and very Wolfpack mentality, which means a lot of the T rounds you're gonna see ends be 4 players together and then Snappy. Let's take Mirage as an example. He calls an Ego on a certain timing. Snappy goes out middle. He fakes mid control, fakes mid present, and then all of a sudden, boom, 4 players explode out to the A bomb side. Who's playing A by himself? Boomich, right? That Wolfpack mentality can definitely make players like Perfecto and Boomich, it can test them, right? Because individually speaking, they're not that strong. The thing is, the supported players to those two are Simple and Electronic. So if Perfecto is isolated, sure, there's a chance they lose. But if Simple is going to be his backup, that should be fine. Same could be said for Electronic. Sure, Boomich may be isolated on some of the bomb sites that ends are trying to hit. But if the backup is Electronic or Simple for that matter, rotating with AWP, I think that's going to be enough to shut it down. Map pool-wise as well, I don't really see a map where Ents are heavy favorites against Navi. They both like to play Ancient. Navi is the best team in the world on Ancient. Ents is probably a top 3 team in the world on Ancient. Inferno shouldn't be too big of a problem for Navi. Mirage is a map that both teams like to play. So even though that Nuke is a map that both teams love to play, they share the same map pool. And when 2 teams share the same map pool, the better team wins. And I think we can all agree that in this case, from what we've seen so far at the Major, from the untapped and unreached potential, Navi is the better team. Also coming into play, I told about experience, right? Ents is a very inexperienced team. Do not forget that even though Madden, even though Hades, even though Spinks, and even though Duha have been around for quite some time, they play Counter-Strike on the top level for a couple of years. That was during the COVID time. They've never been on a big stage. That was at home online, in their basements, in their rooms, coming into a stage in front of a full crowd in a semi-final against Navi. It's a completely different game you have to play. Now, I think Ents can make the game competitive. I think Ents is quality, but Navi is going to be part of the PGL Major 2022 Grand Final. And this is where it gets hella exciting. Because who is going to win the final? FaZe or Navi? FaZe or Navi? Like, Navi have been in a struggle some periods, you know. It's been rough for Navi to find their footing, you know, with all the circumstances that is going around right now. You know, everything that is happening with Navi, in terms of them having to allocate from their countries, right? Simple is not living in Kiev anymore for good reason. The players are in Berlin, Portugal, all over the place. That can't be easy. But that's why I'm so impressed with Navi. The fact that they've been able to focus on Counter-Strike, looked solid in the group stage coming into the playoff, right? I think that's very interesting, and I think that's something that can be, that's something that should deserve a lot of credit. I really think that's a cool story right here. FaZe Clan have all the pieces in order to be a major winning team. They have a fantastic in-game leader who's great at adapting to the opponents. They have Rubs, one of the most solid Counter-Strike players you are ever gonna find in the game. Brokey, this defensive, aggressive AWP player. It may sound counterintuitive, but he's pretty passive. But when stuff goes down, when he's in a scenario where everything explodes, then Brokey explodes, and he's been playing so well this year. Now, maybe he's struggling a little bit so far at the Major compared to how good he's been, but I believe Brokey is one of those players that just gotta play with full confidence. Rain, rock solid Counter-Strike player, and Rain has actually played well so far, and that is a massive win condition for FaZe, especially going into a final against Navi. And then you cannot forget Twist, one of the best aimers in Counter-Strike. One of the very best aimers in Counter-Strike. Sure, in FaZe Clan, he's not found his highest of high. It's not a team that is built around Twist, but trust me, when he's needed for a double kill on a map like Mirage, right? He is so solid, he's so crisp. So they got all the ingredients to take on the current defending major winner. FaZe going against Navi makes me I have goosebumps all over my body right now. I fucking love this job, you know, talking to these teams and providing the storylines. I think Navi have a very good shot at winning the major. I think FaZe Clan are at a point right now where with the bootcamp coming into the legend stage as well, they have never been better prepared. So if they're not going to win this major, they're not going to win a major. If Kerrigan is not going to win this major, he's not going to win a goddamn major. I think a Danish guy will win the major. I think FaZe Clan will take down Navi in a potential final in a fucking, and I'm sorry for swearing, banger of a game. You can never discredit the bit. You can never discount Simple from a game of Counter-Strike. There's probably a world where Simple is down 14-14, makes a 1v5, and FaZe Clan throw it all, and then it ends up Navi winning the entire thing. But I'm gonna go with FaZe Clan to win this major. I think they have all the ingredients to be the best team in the world. I'm not worried. I'm not scared about the fact that they've struggled and lost a couple of maps in the first stage of the Legends. I think it's a team that is growing into the tournament. I think it's a team that is getting better and better every single time they join the server. And do not forget, out of all these teams, even up against Navi, out of all these teams, even against Navi, they are probably the team with the most LAN experience. They are the team that have had players that's been on the stage for the most time, right? Broken Bit, relatively new to it. Rainey's been on a stage a million times. Kerrigan, he's been on a stage a million times. Twisty's been on a stage a million times. Robsy's been there a couple of times. For Navi, it's even relatively new, right? Navi missed 2 years of being on the stage every single time because of COVID. So, yeah, they have a lot of experience, and yeah, they won the major last time around, but do not discredit the fact that FaZe Clan may very well be the most experienced team at the major, and that's why I'm gonna pick FaZe Clan to win the entire thing. I think this is gonna be a banger of a playoff, and I could be wrong. We could be in a scenario where Spirit goes into the semifinal. We could be in a scenario where perhaps NIP make a big upset and ruin the entire thing for me. But I believe this to be the case. I believe FaZe Clan to finally have built a team that can go all the way. And I'm sorry for yelling right now, but I am so fucking excited, man. I cannot wait on to start the playoff tomorrow. I cannot wait on to get on the desk, share all the stories with you guys, and share all the freaking hype that's gonna be inside that arena. I hope you guys are gonna be ready for it. This is my PickEms locked and loaded. These teams are going to be in the quarterfinals. These teams are going to be in the semifinals. FaZe Clan Navi is going to play one hell of a grand final. Hopefully, that will be, hopefully going all the way, all 3 maps, overtime. Give it to me, and then FaZe Clan will finally lift the trophy. Kerrigan will finally redeem himself from the Boston Major, where he and FaZe Clan were supposed to win it, but they bottled it hard. They threw away the game and ended up losing to Cloud9. It's time for FaZe. Hashtag FaZe up. Fuck, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. Now calm down, Jacob. Calm down.